brother, good music, Radio Caroline.
You're listening to a test transmission from Radio Caroline on 319 meters, 963 kilohertz. Our programs commence in precisely 9 minutes' time.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Radio Caroline on 319 meters, 963 kilohertz. I'm Tom, and for the next hour, I'd like to take you on a couple of musical journeys through the past 2 decades. We're going to start with the Zombies and She's Not There, and follow that with the Yardbirds with Heart Full of Soul. Caroline on 319.
Because as you know, it's taken a long time to come together, and there's a lot of people who have worked very hard. Now, it's really a dream come true. I mean, coming up the bay and across the channel was just a feeling you can't explain to anyone. I mean, we were all like kids. We were all running around thinking, oh, this is it. This is what we're doing. You know, we were, weren't we?
Yeah.
We were just having a great time.
The ship has sat around for a long time waiting to come out. The time is right. It wouldn't be here if it wasn't, really. There's an atmosphere, and something tells you when everything's right to happen. It's happening.
I think the striking thing about it is the mast. It's of the same design as Radio North Seas by the look of it, certainly by the colour scheme anyway. And it's very, very tall. I think it must be the tallest mast on a ship.
What's going to happen? Well, we're going to play some pop records, we are.
We hope to be on
Very soon.
within a few days.
Just got smoking.
I'm not. When the camera's on. Very down, Mark. I'm sorry. terrible problem. You got a cigarette, please?
Rothman, see? We're on the adverts. Can we go do some work now?
Well, it's going to be sort of innovative in as much as in the 60s we were and in the 70s we were. And this time we're going to play a lot more music with fewer interruptions, you know, sort of 20 minutes or so. And it's wonderful.
Right. It's really good. It's the best ship ever put together for this job. I mean, look at that mast. It's the best ever put together.
Well, I think it's going to be a station format rather than individual format to give us overall sound of the whole station rather than individual DJs' programs.
20 to 40 age group, really, which is who we're aiming at, that we see as our market. I mean, we're all in the 20 to 40 age group anyway. Just about.
Some of us have been 40-year-old rock stars, and we're aiming at a new market that hasn't really been tapped.
Robert Plant is middle of the road now. When we were kids, he was wild.
Yeah, my first stint on radio, and yes,
I don't think you'd be very good.
A little bit nervous, but with all this experience you're around, you know, I think it'll work out okay.
In your direction.
He's looking in yours.
Well, I've been involved in radio for a few years, but this is a whole new ball game. It's terrific, you know. Back in Dublin, I've been involved in a couple of the big stations over there. Very much so, yes, yeah. Settling in, yes, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we got a magic cook. Good sense of humour, and he's a good cook as well. Really is good. Great guy. Tone the Moan, his name is. Sorry? Oh, yes, definitely. Lots of freezers, we've got everything on board, everything we want. All the booze as well, which is a good part. It's home from home, but it's out in the middle of the sea, really. Great. It's fantastic.
Yes, can we have the Guardian each day and some Bertarelli ice cream?
And the Sun as well. I'm a Sun reader. And a Jesper Carrot fan as well, because he reads the Sun as well. Because you always get the truth in the Sun. Oh, I know. Is this going to be in the Sun? It's up there. I'm going. It's up there. We hope so. The sunshine, yeah. Hear the plug, Robbie? We were. Us three, yeah. Really nice, comfortable trip. Very good. Beautiful. It was excellent. Just came straight up the Bay of Biscay, up the Channel. It was great. The weather was good.
Arrived for a lovely English summer where it was cold, windy.
Nothing at all.
Don't think so. Nothing at all.
Nothing really. What makes you so sure they're going to be some?
Calmer days as well.
Yeah. You may have noticed on the ship there's an atmosphere around the ship, and that's what will keep it there. sort of a feeling, a vibe, I suppose, to use a very used word, but it's there, it's all on there. There's a feeling and a vibe around the ship you don't get anywhere else. It's just a good feeling, a nice place to be. It's quite a big one, yes.
Big boy.
It's quite a big boy, yes. It's quite a big rascal, yes. There's a distinct possibility that
They might hear us in Southend.
yes, Southend is going to be great.
Shoeburyness on the fringe, I think.
Yes.
And Wivenhoe. Hello, Wivenhoe.
Just this one group that. This will be a little bit of happiness.
You mean?
A little bit of
A little bit. Look on the bright side. Everybody's happy. I knew a guy from a CB radio, and he involved me with it. He said, well, I've heard you on the CB, you got a good voice, how would you like to tune in on radio and get a job? Did a cassette tape, it was passed by Johnny Walker, actually. He used to work for Radio 1, and that was it, from there. Just came from there. That was 2 years ago. I've been waiting about 2 years now.
Did you think it wasn't going to, you know, get to fruition?
Well, at the beginning, yeah, there was a lot of hang-ups and everything, and people were saying, oh, well, it's going to be a couple of months and it's going to be a couple of weeks and everything, and I really didn't think it was going to take off, and then I gave up hope. But then I had a contact about a month ago, and they said, would I still like to be involved? And yes, definitely.
So you went down to Spain?
I went down to Spain about 2 weeks ago now, and then came up from Spain on the boat. Lovely trip up, it really was good. Beautiful trip up.
How do you think Caroline's going to go?
I think it'll get off with a bang. I think it'll be very, very successful. People are getting very anti-Radio 1. There's too much talk on Radio 1, not enough music. And this is going to be an all-music station.
I got involved through Johnny Walker, really, who was going to be involved on about 2 years ago. And what happened was I was working on a pirate station in Liverpool, doing land-based pirates, which is very naughty and very illegal. And as you know, we're not really into that sort of thing. So I was working on that, and I did some syndicated shows for the States. And Johnny heard some of my stuff in the States, and we just happened to meet by coincidence. I knew he was looking around for people, and he walked into an office of a friend of mine in London, and this guy said, I know someone who's looking for you, and we just got together, and that was it. It's being done properly, and that's what it's all about. I tend to look upon it as we're a real radio station for real people. I mean, I don't want to turn on the radio if I'm on the dole in Liverpool or Birmingham and hear a guy telling me that he's just driven into the studio or whatever in his Italian car, he's going back to his big house in the country, and then he might go and check out his racehorses tonight. I want to hear music, and I want to hear someone I can relate to, and someone I can be with, and someone who talks to me honestly, doesn't talk to me a load of rubbish.
How have you found people that you've met on the ship so far? You've only...
Great.
Yeah.
Great. The atmosphere on this ship is incredible. I mean, from the cook across, and we got a cook. I mean, it's just great. Everyone has got this amazing vibe, and I think the line is, if you don't want to have a good laugh, then you shouldn't be here. I mean, it's good fun, and it's going to be good fun radio, and it's going to come across on air. That's what we're here for. We're having a good time. One of the lines was a bunch of loonies in the North Sea, and you've seen them. They're all here for you.
Breaking the Marine Offences Act, does it bother you at all? Or?
Is it breaking the law? I mean, can you charge for airwaves? I mean, the moon is a classic situation. It belongs to everyone. And airwaves should not be charged for, in theory, should they? But that's not up to me to decide, is it?
What do you think on that point?
Does
it bother you that, you know, going back into England, if you go back into England, but of course you'll be tended...
That I could end up in a prison cell for doing this sort of thing. Well, I think I like to take the risk, actually. I think it's good to take the risk. I think that people should actually be able to listen to a radio without any aggravation of people sort of breathing down your neck, telling you what to play. We are limited as time goes on what we can play, but when you tune into this station, it's going to be 100%. It's going to be a 100% music station, less chat and everything, and it's what people are going to be looking for. So really, I can't really say that I'm going to be bothered about not doing it.
Are you going to try and develop your own characters, on your own personalities, though, on the air? You're not just going to be segueing music in for 20 minutes?
That will happen, but not to the degree that you guys know of radio. You guys know of radio as being that there must be a jock there must be a personality. It must be this guy does this and this guy does that. I think you will find that the music, as Dave said, is going to be the first thing. That's what we're here for.
We're not here to promote ourselves. We're not here to promote the separate as a disc jockey. We're here to promote the station, get everybody have a good time out there and listening to us.
Music is the world's greatest leveller, isn't it? I mean, you ever been to a reggae gig? It's not all black people. It's not all white people at any other gigs. There are people there. So music is the world's greatest leveller. And if we can do that, it's worth being out here, isn't it?
What have you got it on board? Do you know what side of the transmitter
It's a fairly
big,
large one.
and it's going to cover a large area.
Yeah.
People will be hearing us for a lot of miles.
What's the size of you?
That's 300 foot high, that
300 foot.
antenna.
I have been to the top. My boy, the only living man to have been to the top.
Did you help
And a photograph to prove
I was
it.
very frightened. I arrived, this is my second spell really, because I was out looking after the ship last year for 4 months. And at that time, it was all gradually coming together, because as you know, it's taken a long time to come together. And there's a lot of people who have worked very hard. And it's just sort of, now, it's really a dream come true. I mean, coming up the bay and across the channel was just a feeling you can't explain to anyone. I mean, we were all like kids. We were all running around thinking, oh, this is it. This is what we're doing. You know, we were, weren't we?
Yeah.
We were just having a great time.
Oh, people have come across on the ship to shore radio and asking when we're coming on the air and everything. TV, newspapers. But there's been no comment, really. We haven't disclosed any information. Not as yet.
If we come on with a signal that we're pleased with and that it's going down well and playing the music we want, then that's what it's all about, isn't it?
So you think this format and Caroline has got it together now?
Oh, yes.
It's different. It's original. It's very original. This is what they do in America and on the pirate stations in Ireland, which Robbins works on, and they're very, very successful.
Yeah.
Segues, less chat, and you can tune in the radio, and immediately, you know, you're listening to Radio Caroline. You haven't got people like going, Steve, right in the afternoon, and everything, and phone calls and everything coming over, which is getting really...
Don't plug him!
Which is getting really
Don't plug
boring.
him!
It's getting really boring, honestly. People don't want to listen to chat on radio anymore. If they want to, they can tune into an all-chat or a phone-in show. But this is an all-music station.
It's been proved in Ireland. There are stations in Dublin and there are stations in Ireland who play a lot of music. And those are the stations that are successful. But then again, you've got to relate to the man in the street or the lady or persona in the street, for want of a better phrase. And if you can relate to those people, which is what we're really going to try hard to do, they're the most important person. We're not important. We are to a degree. But the most important person is the man in the street who listens to your radio. That's the guy you want to know. And I hope, as you say, we don't get thrown into prison when we do go to England, because meeting those people and having a laugh with those people is going to be part of doing it. That's part of the fun of doing it.
Do you know, I see on the deck you've got LA. Is that the concept you're going to be promoting that like you were before, or like Caroline was before?
Yeah, it's going to be mentioned, and it's going to be a part of the station. I mean, I mentioned earlier on that buzz and that feeling and that idea of Caroline. And the feeling really is that be nice to the guy next door. There's no reason for going around to hitting the guy next door or thieving or whatever. There are reasons, because there's a lot of people who are without money and who are struggling. But we've proved on here, I mean, we've had some fun times on here. And at times it's been hard in all sorts of situations. But if you're nice to the guy next door and really That's loving awareness. That's what it's all about, you know. Just do it. Just do it.
This is the first time that this one's been a pirate ship, so and it doesn't have the sort of ambiance the other one had for me straight away, but maybe if you ask me again in 6 months' time, I'll say it does have.
Do you feel more confident now you've been on board and sort of seen the ship firsthand, more confident that...
Yeah, you hear all sorts of tales about how it is and how it's not and whatever. I mean, I was quite impressed. I mean, let's face it, it's in fairly good nick. I mean, looking around, there are obviously 1 or 2 areas that could do with a bit of paint on and whatever, but that won't stop us going on the air and doing what we plan to do. It looks pretty well organised. It's a lovely ship.
You've got to relate to the man in the street, or the lady, or persona in the street, for want of a better phrase. And if you can relate to those people, which is what we're really going to try hard to do, they're the most important person. We're not important. We are to a degree, but the most important person is the man in the street who listens to your radio. That's the guy you want to know.
Tune into the magic number, 319. That's what it's all about.